You saw that? Even my fuck ups are on beat. Damn. How you gonna try to come in like that?
How you gonna mute my mic?
You just gave a buckshot right now off air. The people didn't even hear it.
A buckshot for every future bar.
Oh man, hey.
I keep forgetting that our intro is like a minute and 7 seconds long. That shit feels like an eternity. Anyway, man, it's Kenneth Berry here. When I have touchdowns and tangents, sometimes it's a third, depending on if Serve is here or not. Who knows? Shout out to Serve. I didn't mean that joke last week, but it was funny. So if you didn't hear it, I probably just dry snitched on myself. But it was funny. But anyway.
But yeah, man, shout out to the Good News Radio and shout out to the Good News Sports. We're here live in Studio 2. Kenny said we're somewhere in episode 180. So
we're in 180s now.
Shout out to all you who've been rocking with us since then.
180 episodes.
Shout out to everyone else who's just getting on the wave. And of course, shout out to the X Squad. Shout out to FPC Radio. Woo.
Man, shout out to Downtown Sports Network. Shout out to...
Oh, now we're just giving random shout outs, but... Yeah, man.
Shout out to all our past guests.
Shout out to all our past guests, man.
Shout out to all our past guests and future guests. See what I said? Future guests. You see that?
Wow. So is this going to be an episode where we just drink every time somebody says future?
Yes, future? You're welcome. This is how we're going to help you get through the quarantine. And I'm wearing a future hoodie that I got at that concert.
Which I'm shocked still fits. Like, that was honestly the first thing I said to him today. I was like, that still fits?
It super fits, bro.
But yeah, man, shout out to that concert we went to. Migos, Skip Tory Lanez.
Bro, the fact that Tory Lanez really opened on that tour and Dope in a Minute is like my favorite song now. Like, can we really just like Dope in a Minute is a fire song.
I'm good on a dude who just remakes songs from 20 years ago.
Ouch. That sample is fire though.
And raps really fast on it.
That sample is fire though. So Drake, I'm kidding.
Nah. But with that, man, we got a loaded show today, so we should probably get to the content. First off, the issue we wanted to talk about with the whole airline and the player situation.
No. We're going to wait on that. Since I keep blasting off this shotgun blast, we're going to get to the shits. And there's a story update. So remember when we talked about Quentin Dunbar and DeAndre Baker? That situation where they allegedly robbed some people to get their stuff back and fled the scene in a bunch of expensive ass cars.
Did you see that tweet where that
DeAndre Baker got off?
Nah. There was this reporter and he was like, in all the scandals I've covered, this is by far the craziest one. I forgot who it was, but go ahead.
Pretty much, because I mean, according to in a story in the New York Post by Paul Schwartz, the headline goes, DeAndre Baker, Quentin Dunbar's lawyers fighting each other over a bullshit tweet. So pretty much, it first came out that Dunbar, a bunch of people came out with written verbal statements saying that Dunbar was innocent. And it
was like 5 people had signed an agreement.
And it looked like Baker was guilty.
Yeah.
Then people came out on Baker's behalf. But now, one of the lawyers for Baker, Patrick Patel, said it's not only false, that pretty much it's deceitful and sparked avalanche accusations against Dunbar's lawyer, Michael Greco. Says Baker is going to immediately file a lawsuit against Greco for libel and slander, making everyone believe that Baker is in that picture because his name is in the text. Also, they're facing 4 counts of armed robbery with a firearm, 4 counts of aggravated assault. Stemming from the alleged incident last Wednesday in Miramar, Florida, Dunbar's facing 4 counts of armed robbery. The arrest warrant stated that Baker and Dunbar may have lost $70,000 in the dice game 2 nights earlier. And if you lose $70K in a dice game, you almost got to go back and, do something. You can't just lose $70K in a dice game in your hood. But that's a whole nother. I'm not going to be a snitch like Michael Jordan or allegedly Horace Grant, so I'm going to just leave that there. But for those of y'all who come from dice game culture, you understand you don't just walk away from a $70,000 loss. Somebody got to die, I'm sorry, or allegedly die, or somebody got to get their life changed. I don't know. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, that was the motivation behind the incident. Baker, they both surrendered themselves, so Baker entered a plea of not guilty to all 8 counts. Dunbar also pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. In this picture that Michael Greco tweeted out, it says that Dunbar lost a bunch of money early in the week at a gambling party, suggesting he had motives. He said, but why did the organizer text Dunbar about not knowing about the prior party and what went down? And then answer, because he wasn't there. And it's pretty much a picture with DeAndre Baker in it. And it's looking kind of guilty. And, yeah. It's not looking great.
I found the tweet that I was talking about. It's from Greg Bell, who is a Seahawks beat reporter for the AP. He said, been asked how crazy Quentin Dunbar's story is versus all the other I've covered on the beat. Said Ken Hamlin's street sign story, crazy. Malik McDowell's story,
I tweeted that out.
crazy.
I remember that.
0205 Raiders, we have to be the dumbest team in America. DB's nearly boycotting a GM. Barrett Robbins, AWOL, Super Bowl. Now that was crazy.
Indeed. That shit was wild. All those things are wild. Go look up the Ken Hamlin story, by the way.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty much to the point where... And I mean, the issue with the Giants pretty much don't want him back at the facility, DeAndre Baker. They had issues, and a bunch of reports came out now. Everybody thought it was a great pick when it happened, but apparently a lot of people in the building didn't want Baker even on the team. They said that he had to pretty much get his ass dragged to practice to work hard every day at Georgia, and he was always a headache. And people were already not sold on his work ethic and his personality, saying he got into fights. There's a bunch of issues at Georgia, and he really it's very polarizing for the Giants. They don't even want him in the facility. I think they barred him from the facility for the foreseeable future. It's a lot of reports coming out, and a lot of people were finding out they in the organization really did not want Baker on the Giants. So the fact that it's wow, why did you draft him then? But also, in the picture, it says the picture posted in the text shows one larger man sitting at a table and another man standing nearby with a high stack of cash and a smaller stack of cash on the table. The man standing up, wearing a short-sleeved red shirt with tattoos on his right arm and possibly on his left arm, could be seen as possibly being Baker. The faces of both men are concealed by yellow smiley faces, although it's not clear when those smiley faces were added. Shout out to Snapchat, still getting people in trouble. Unbelievable. Look at the size of the arms and the tats, Patel said. It's not him. In other words, if the tats are amiss, you must dismiss. Wow, that is a journalism bar. That was corny, but he said it. I'm going to say it again. In other words, if the tats are amiss, you must dismiss. Or quit. Pretty much they're charged, the 2 men are charged with stealing more than $12,000 in cash, expensive designer watches. Pretty much allegedly, the arrest warrant said that Baker pointed a gun at a victim and told an unidentified masked assailant to shoot someone walking into the party. Patel previously told the Post that Baker was playing the Madden video game at the house party and left after he heard a ruckus in the other room. DeAndre has no knowledge of anybody in those texts, who sent it to who. Patel said, let the guy come forward. I cannot wait to get Greco on the stand and cross-examine him on how he got that text, who he got the text from. Patel also pointed out Greco has a history of troubling conduct, lawyer beef. Greco is also accused of using his prosecution of an assault case against Sean Taylor, the now deceased safety to promote his work as a nightclub disc jockey in Miami Beach. Patel's also mentioned Greco at 27 resigned as Miami Beach commissioner, facing charges of accepting an illegal campaign contribution. So, yeah, it's not looking good. And anybody who defames the name of Sean Taylor, I have a problem with. So, yeah, it's not good. Anything else you want to say?
Nah, I think you about covered it. I mean, it's a pretty crazy story. I'm just waiting to see how it all unveils.
So they're going to get worse, and boy, yeah, it's nasty. Anytime you have shady lawyers and money and dice games, and this is why athletes really need to be smart about social media, because some people have a propensity to do stupid shit, and then when it, like, why? There's so much, like, Snapchat really is like a barren wasteland of nastiness. Like, sometimes it's really nice and upbeat, and then it's like, oh God, there are drugs and murder and, like, nudity down that aisle. Like, for real. But anyway, so we can get back to the first topic at hand, if you want.
Well, let's see, depending on the guest. The guest goes on.
Tis true. Tis true.
But yeah, basically what happened was the two NFL players who are right now anonymous essentially are suing American Airlines, saying they were sexually harassed by female passengers who confronted them and was, harassing them, even took their face mask off. But we'll get back to that. Awkward transition.
Hello, caller. What's your name and where you calling from?
This is Ryan Dyrud, calling from Pasadena, California.
Hey, Ryan, what's good?
What's happening, guys? What's going on?
So, for those of you guys who don't know, Ryan here is the CEO, founder, and host of the LA Football Network and podcast, as well as the Spirits in History podcast. First of all, man, we've been trying to do this for a while, so happy to finally get you on. But yeah, how are you doing with all this craziness of, uncertainty around sports, and how are you maintaining right now?
Yeah, man, thanks for having me on. We have been trying to get this going for a while. I think back to, even back to the Rams Super Bowl, we talked about maybe doing a crossover or something, which was like a year and a half ago. So, good to be on with you fellas. But yeah, man, it's been crazy. I mean, I'm sure my story is pretty similar to everyone else's, just kind of trying to find ways to create content still and really cover these LA football teams. And I believe we were both at the covering the Wildcats here in LA with the XFL, and obviously that came to an end. So it's just been trying to create content and find good coverage for these teams that aren't really doing anything right now.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because Vince McMahon's now trying to buy the XFL back from bankruptcy. Like that.
Dude, I was talking on the show today, like this new wrinkle is we may actually have the XFL next year. Who knows?
Or continuation of the season, maybe? Who knows?
Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, they'd have to get all the players and staff back, but we'll see.
But yeah, man, so with all that, kind of the topic over the past, few weeks, especially with everything kind of died down, has been like the uniforms of the two teams in Los Angeles. Who do you think won that first little scrimmage? Who do you think rolled out their uniforms better? Like, who do you think just overall has the better uniform and design now headed into SoFi?
I mean, I think overall the Chargers did it better. I think the way they released, they were just much more under the radar. There wasn't like this huge, big stink about it. Like the Rams were kind of building up their big release, and obviously they probably had a big thing planned, and it came crashing down because of this pandemic. But the Chargers always kind of flew under the radar, and then they released it. They released the logo update, which is very, very subtle, but it was enough to kind of make a splash. And then they quietly released their uniforms on Good Morning Football. I think Joey Bosa was that did it, and I mean they have the best uniforms in the entire league.
Yeah.
So I think the upper hand, but I think the Rams, once everything blows over, I do like their. I don't really love the logo, but I do like the uniforms. I think the helmet's badass. I think it. What they were going for was a thing from the past, but modernizing it, and I think they did that. And some people hate on it. Personally, I like it though, so I think their uniforms are really cool too. I like the bone color, but just head to head, I mean the Chargers knocked out of the park.
And moving forward, just to the on-field product, how do you think